The next friend that's going to speak to us is Anqoinette Crosby, who is unfortunately had a family emergency and was able to put a video together for us right now.
I miss Brian so much. It's hard to even talk about him in the past tense. It's what I've been saying since losing Brian on January 13th, that I can't imagine a world without Bryan Monroe in it. But I'm honored that his beautiful love, Abe, who is now like a sister to me, has invited me to be here and talk about the Brian that I knew, loved, and adored. And there are so many names that I recognize on this program because Brian spoke so fondly of all of you throughout the years. Brian, as we know, was a mover and shaker, and there was never a dull moment. Folks just wanted to be around him, even celebrities. So when he was a VP at Ebony, he invited me out to LA for Ebony's Oscar party. So I called my girl Janice Armstrong of the Philadelphia Inquirer and said, let's get out to LA and have some fun. It was a star studded event with Halle Berry, Janet Jackson, and of course, Brian being the consummate host. With his radiant energy, he made sure everyone was having a great time. He was in his element. Brian was print and I was broadcast, but then one year we sort of switched. He was at CNN and I was at the Washington Post. We laughed at that. He was a huge asset to me. I could go to him and ask him for any type of advice. And later, when I became an anchor at the Black News Channel up until his passing, he was giving me names of guests to have on my show because Brian, as we know, knew everybody. Brian was so much more than a best friend. He was my big brother. There were many ways over the years that he showed me his caring, brotherly side. Like the time he drove all the way to my condo to find a spider. And then there was the know me all too well side where he'd call and say, let's meet for drinks. Well, if I paused too long, he said, oh, never mind, you must be wearing your glasses and in pigtails. He laughed because he knew that I was in for the night. Brian would often call or text and say, come by, I'm having a few people over. From his pool parties in San Jose to White House correspondence events, the Super Bowl party he co-hosted at Suzanne Malveau's house, or a backyard barbecue. It didn't matter what it was always a blast. So I would walk into these events and it would be a who's who in media, but it was still chill, music playing, Brian swaying, going from the grill to the kitchen with big plates of food. Folks just having a ball. Hey, we were at home. Over the years, Brian would invite me to spend many holidays with him and his family. And I'll never forget the last Thanksgiving I spent with them. As a family, they were going through the painful loss of his beautiful mother. So there I was, Brian at the head of the table, his dad, General Monroe, at the other end, Brian's love, Abe, and the kids, Jackson, Shauna, and Abbott. It was such a touching memory. Well, afterwards, I texted my mom that I had a great time and showed her the pictures of Brian's fabulous homemade feast. She texted back, I am so happy that you had a glorious time. You deserve it. Is that Brian's house? Because it looks like a five-star restaurant. I am jealous. Oh, how my mama loved Brian and he adored her. I am so thankful that I had a seat at Brian's spectacular table no matter where it was. And so thankful that Brian allowed me the honor of being in his phenomenal life. Brian, I will love you forever.